Wait.
Oh, look at that! Looks like you wore those tights 20 years ago.
But with wrestlers on the road for more than 300 days a year, even the biggest superstars can hit rough patches, letting their fitness slip due to in-ring injuries, personal struggles, or even just time away from the ring. However, these WWE wrestlers, though they let themselves get out of shape, bounce right back into peak physical condition, and in some cases, looking absolutely jacked or insanely ripped. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 11 wrestlers who let themselves go and then got in insanely good shape. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Number 11. Kane. Now the Big Red Machine Kane has always been a wrestler with a decent body. Even in his days as Isaac Yankem DDS and the debut of Kane, his body was significantly built and ripped. However, as Kane grew older in the WWE, his body noticeably took a hit, and Kane was definitely looking more out of shape as his career grew on. Now Kane did venture into politics in 2017, announcing that he'd be running for mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. The Big Red Machine was also inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021, and he also made sporadic appearances in the WWE. But it was during this time that he took on a new lease of life, and he credited DDP yoga and a low-carb diet for his insanely ripped look. Number 10. Jacob Fatu. And one of the first things that Jacob Fatu did when he signed with WWE was get in the best shape of his life. Fatu was never exactly in bad shape, but he knew that WWE had an established preference for how their top guys looked, and he knew that if he got absolutely shredded, it would help his chances of becoming a main eventer. Fatu looks incredible, and his significant weight loss, as well as his muscle gain, has added to his aura and made some of his more athletic moves look even more impressive. His transformation has been directly mentioned on WWE television, as the commentators are quick to point out just how incredible he looks, and he definitely deserves his flowers in this regard. Number 9. Big Cass. W. Morrissey, aka Big Cass, has documented his struggles with anxiety and depression, and Morrissey had put a lot of his focus in recent years into the gym and getting back into shape. It was evident that the former WWE star wasn't looking after himself both physically and mentally, and during an interview with Sportskeeda, he would state that hitting the gym helped with his sobriety. The gym is very important to me, mentally and in my sobriety. So I was going to the gym pretty consistently, but it didn't foresee me coming back to wrestling until about 5 months ago. I spoke to Doc Gallows and he said that he had a spot for me on one of his shows, so I started working out super hard twice a day, and I've been busting my ass, man. I'm keeping my diet really clean. My girlfriend cooks a lot of my meals for me. Now he deserves all the praise in the world for getting back into insane shape, and he's currently one of the most shredded names on the entire AEW roster. Number 8. Chris Jericho. The legendary Chris Jericho is a name that has struggled with his weight over the years, and whilst aesthetically he's looked different, it's never truly hindered his performances. When Jericho left WWE in 2010, he was perhaps his heaviest weight ever, yet when he returned in 2012, he looked like a completely different wrestler. Jericho would introduce a new diet and he would begin to religiously use the popular DDP yoga program. According to the first ever undisputed champion during an interview with GQ, his latest diet consists of small snacks and vitamins. The diet consists of just very small snacks, all infused with proteins and nutrients, and then a bunch of supplements. B12 fat burners, potassium, vitamins. I remember the first day it was like, okay, here's your first meal. And it's one little package of oatmeal. And I was like, well, what else? I'm the type of guy who will have 6 eggs and bacon and a couple of pieces of toast and a banana. The fact that Jericho is still in amazing shape at 54 speaks volumes, and it shows just how much he still cares about his craft. Number 7. The Undertaker. During the 1990s and early 2000s, The Undertaker was never a name that was known for having a shredded physique. The Undertaker's body would often be hidden, and he would often wear a vest or t-shirt to hide his body type from fans. However, something changed in The Undertaker's mind in the mid-2000s as he decided to get into the best shape of his entire career, and he would even begin to pull down the straps of his attire to reveal his impressive abs. The Undertaker became more agile in the ring, and it was apparent that this newfound physique definitely led to a surge of confidence, as The Undertaker never looked more comfortable in the squared circle. This was around the time period in which The Undertaker wanted to be known as a big man that could move, and he did exactly that. Some fans say that this run between 2006 to 2009 is potentially the best run of his entire career from an in-ring perspective. Number 6. Braun Strowman. Now, the Braun Strowman that debuted in WWE in 2015 compared to the 2025 version of Strowman is a completely different animal. Strowman was carrying a significant amount of weight when he debuted in WWE, and this was definitely impacting how agile he was in the ring. Fast forward to his 2022 return, and Strowman would debut one of the most chiseled physiques in all of wrestling. Simply put, Strowman looked incredible. During an interview with TalkSport, the former Universal Champion would blame that a period of bad mental illness led to his change. It's one of the things where I went through this really bad phase of mental illness that I had where I was depressed and suicidal. One of the things that I could control in my life at times where I was out of control was my diet, and that's what pushed me so hard to change my physical appearance. Strowman's body transformation has massively helped his in-ring work, and he's able to keep up with much smaller opponents. And he's managed to turn himself into a consistently great hand that WWE utilizes often on TV. Number 5. Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's weight gain in early 2010s was almost its own wrestling character. That's right, Hardy himself was going to turn his weight gain into a new character, and the Fat Hardy memes were going to lead to a brand new story arc for one half the Hardy Boys. Naturally, Hardy never ended up debuting this character, but at the time, there was a lot of concern for Hardy's welfare, as it was clear that he wasn't looking after himself. Thankfully, in subsequent years, Hardy would work extremely hard to shift the weight, and he now finds himself in 2025 in peak physical condition. As Hardy has gotten older and elements of his in-ring work have been scaled back, it was vital that Hardy focused on looking after his body. Due to his body transformation, he's likely added years onto his pro wrestling career, which is wonderful to see. Number 4. Goldust. When Goldust was portraying the infamous character known as Black Reign in TNA, there was a major concern for his welfare. He looked just off, and it wasn't just his physical attributes that had drastically altered, his in-ring work had dramatically dipped, and it was evident that this was a man that needed help. His substance issues were prevalent during this time period, and it was in 2008 when the wrestling legend would turn his life around. 2008 was the year that he would get sober, and he never looked back. Goldust managed to cut 60 pounds from his waistline, and he managed to focus on his diet as well as his exercise routine. Thanks to his sobriety, Goldust would be rehired by WWE, and he would eventually be one of the AEW's first signings as a startup company. Goldust is a name that should be extremely proud of himself, as he's managed to pull himself out of a sinister and very dark place. Number 3. Triple H. Now, Triple H has mostly been known for being in incredible shape. The game would even release a fitness book in early 2000s focused on his body transformation, and this was a book that sold extremely well. There was a down period in Triple H's physique, and this was around the 2003 mark. Due to a combination of several injuries, including a major groin injury, Triple H was finding it hard to work out, and lifting weights was proving to be next to impossible. Due to this, the game put on a lot of weight rather quickly, and the injuries were so bad that the game had to debut a new biker shorts to protect his groin from further injury. Now, in hindsight, WWE should have given Triple H a few months off in order for him to get shredded once again. Ultimately, this would have been an incredibly tough time for a man that prided himself on being in the best condition possible. Number 2. The Big Show. During his time as leader of WWE, Vince McMahon had a habit of letting talent know directly that they had let themselves go. Big Show was a name that always struggled with his weight, and in 2000, McMahon sent the former WWE champion to OVW to condition his body and get in in-ring shape. Show's weight fluctuated over the years, but once again in late 2003, McMahon was dissatisfied with Show's appearance, and this led to McMahon making Show turn into the infamous New Year's Baby. The former WWE champ would discuss things during a Talk is Jericho appearance, saying,
"So I got fat." So he says, "Well, you're a fat baby New Year. Maybe you should lose some weight." But that's the kind of relationship I've had with him. Like, he's getting fat. I need to motivate him. Let me embarrass him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The diaper worked.
This proceeded to light a fire in Show as he would start his weight loss journey. He would lose a total of 100 pounds, and for the first time in his life, he had visible abs. The results were so noticeable that WWE had no choice but to reference the transformation on commentary. The body transformation had a fantastic influence on Show's in-ring output, as his matches with the likes of Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman all benefited from this new and improved version of the world's largest athlete. And number 1. Sheamus. Upon returning to WWE in 2024, it was obvious that Sheamus wasn't exactly in the best condition. This was even addressed by Drew McIntyre as he made the joke that his friend had been eating burger after burger. According to Sheamus during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, he was initially hoping to return at WrestleMania 40, but when that didn't happen, he lost motivation and put a lot of weight on, burger after burger. I was hoping to make it at Mania, but when that didn't happen, I kinda lost my discipline and took the foot off the gas. Sheamus also noted that he drank a lot of Guinness during this time, and that he would add significant inches to the Great White's waistline. Sheamus's body transformation would be drastic and quick, as within a month or so, the Sheamus of old was back on TV, and it was apparent that he had gone away and once again put his life and soul into gym and his fitness regime. But there you have it, folks, 11 WWE wrestlers who let themselves go, but then got in insanely good shape. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.